Good evening, very good evening to everyone. Thank you for joining. Manisha, thank you, Bansri. Mahil, who is it? I'm not sure. It must be your child's name. So, welcome all. Can we all come on camera if possible? Please come on video. Face to face meeting will always be nice. We all are friends. Welcome. Shweta is our one of our speakers today. Welcome, Shweta. Kanika, welcome. Kanika
Welcome, ma'am.
is also giving us lot many tips to us today. So welcome. Anirudh, welcome. So yes. So today is a different kind of a meet. Normally every week I used to talk to you, take your questions. So today I thought why not invite our Shweta and Kanika, and Loka will also join us in the meanwhile. So not many parenting questions, parenting challenges keep coming up. How to enjoy stress-free parenting is the topic for today. So you all know me, I'm Veena BK. I'm a parenting coach, life coach and a healer. I'm just introducing myself in short because I want to post this on Facebook also for the benefit of others. And we'll be talking about various parenting issues and also offering you solutions. So just at the outset, I want to introduce Shweta first. Shweta is an engineer by qualification. And like I have told you earlier, she has taken the training with me. She's a very self-motivated, self-inspired person and very hard worker. And as a parent herself, she has her own experiences. And especially she deals with parenting of early childhood and yeah, early toddlers. Manisha, you have a toddler, so Shweta is here. So, early childhood years, even pregnancy, she hasn't had some experiences of her own. With her own experience, she'll be sharing whatever tips about the early childhood for the moms. And Kanika has been a teacher. She's also highly qualified and she has worked with parents, teachers, and children. And for her own personal reasons to be with her kids, she quit her job, and now she essentially knows how much it is a challenge balancing work and parenting and family. And her specialization is helping working moms to balance career and family. Quitting the career is not an option which she believes in. Yes, you can do justice to both. You can balance both the things, whether it is family and parenting or career. You can excel in both. That is what she believes in, and those are the solutions she will suggest to you. She'll guide you with. I'm not sure, Loka, maybe some network issue. She'll join. There's another Puchi trainee of with me. Her name is Loka Naiki, and she believes in holistic parenting. When she starts talking about holistic parenting, she's so inspired. She'll even forget we are there. Like she's totally into overall development of the child. She's so concerned. Yeah, early childhood years, the moral values, everything is so important. Schooling is a bit narrow. There are subjects children learn, they get marks, but what about the creativity of the children? What about the moral values? What about etiquette? She talks so many things which are so much needed from the early childhood years for the child to develop as a holistic individual. So she'll also be joining us in the meanwhile. So I have some questions here which we thought are, main issues, main challenges which the parents face. So we'll take those questions one by one and we'll talk about it. Yeah, the topic today is about how to enjoy stress-free parenting. As parents, we want the best for our children. We also want to, provide them with all the comforts and also take them on the right path. They look up to us. We are the role models for our children. So let us see how we can be the ideal role models, be the ideal guides, at the same time have our peace of mind and really enjoy those few childhood years, right? So we have some questions here, like a suggestion, like whatever happened in our group. We have this Zen Moms Club where parents are always interacting. The moms, it's a moms club, and moms are always interacting. And we have the questions coming up. So from there, we have taken some main questions and we'll be answering today and we'll be suggesting some solutions, all four of us, me, Shweta, Kanika, and Loka. So welcome, Shweta. Hi.
Yeah, hi, ma'am, and hi to every mom who is doing a lot of work and also very successful in this pandemic, because everybody is very struggling to juggle in between the work and household things, and also taking care of the kids and taking care of in-laws, whoever are there. And kudos to all the moms who are present now, and also kudos to all the Gen moms.
Yeah. That's very important. As a parenting coach, Shweta, you said it rightly. You understand, you put yourself in their shoes. You're a parent too. And this lady of the house is not just a parent, she's taking care of the whole family. Well said, Shweta. Kanika, hi, welcome.
Hello everyone. I know what all struggles every mom is doing, but we all are here. We have got a very good platform to discuss on the things, and let's be, in a positive attire. We should take our parenting and work over the struggles we face.
Yes, rightly said, rightly said. Thank you. So let me share some questions which we have jotted down on behalf of the moms. Main questions. Of course, last 5-10 minutes last 10 minutes we can take the questions from the participants here directly. So first question coming up. So all three will be taking the questions and answering. And in the end, you can ask your questions also, moms over are here. So, and thanks a lot for joining this live session. Thank you, Sandhya, Manisha, Priya, Mahil. I am not sure your name. It's not familiar. Kiran, thank you for joining. Bansri, thank you. Shweta, yeah, Shweta is our guest. Okay. Thank you, everyone. So let's begin. Hope you're all able to see the screen. Type Y if you can see the screen. Some questions we have put there. These are common questions. Any age group, nowadays these questions are coming up again and again. So we thought we'll take these questions. Thank you, Bansri, Sandhya. Yes, so first and foremost, now being the exam time, we have taken study related questions. How to make the kids sit to write or read. The kids are so active, they are going here and there, and they'll do everything else except studies. Even we have had moms telling us that they help me in household chores but not studies. So how to make them sit to read or write? So I'll give this question to Kanika first. What do you have to say, Kanika? Any tips, solutions? Because you have two energetic kids, I know that. So what tips would you like to share about making the kids to sit at a place and start to study?
Yeah, it's very difficult to make kids, especially the age group from 5 years to 7 years, 8 years. They are the children who are getting restless and they don't want instruction and again. So what I have there for me suggest is that kindly motivate them and sit with them when they are studying. Don't just leave them and go away by giving the work. Sit with them till the time they are studying, writing or coloring, whatever.
Fine. Shweta, would you? Yeah, yes, Kanika. That's it.
Shweta,
yeah, Shweta, would you like to add something, particularly for that age group, 5 to 7 years? Even above that, you can take.
When we come to the small, like when we start reading, the kids will start reading from 3 to 8 because we will be sending them to preschool. At that time, they are not very much interested because they're most of all they are very interested in playing and everything. So we have to make the reading and writing also in a playful way so that they can be indulged in that and they will show very interest how to write and read. Like for one step, if they are not interested, ask them to color first. Like start with what they are interested, like coloring or matching, and then go on. Once if they sit for few like 10 minutes, then they becomes a habit. Like okay, now they had started, so they can work up to 1 hour also. Even this was very much actually which I had implied on my kid, and it has a very successful. Now also he was just I start whatever the subject. Even if the kid is growing, we can help with the whatever the subject which he is interested and on. So this will be very useful to the kids who are small and also who are up to 9 years also. It will work as a charm.
Wow. So Shweta essentially said that get them to get interested first with their choice of subject or even maybe drawing. First, let them come and sit there with you. Then
sit with the parents,
then transition to actual studies. Good tip, good tip. Loka has joined us. Welcome, Loka. I have just introduced you. Hi, come on video, please, Loka. Loka, can you hear me? Some technical issue at her end. Okay. Just come on video and next question I'll take with you also. So yes, thank you, Shweta, for sharing that. So particularly now I would like to, hi Loka, welcome. So yeah, Yeah, next question, I'll pass it on to you. I'll just end this question. How to make kids to sit to read, write or read, even with preteens and teens, it's a problem. Nowadays, they always want to do something with the gadgets or go outdoor and play. Even though they agree that, yes, I'll come at 5 p.m., they'll never turn up at that time, or they tend to postpone. This procrastination is very huge in this kid of about 8 years to up to the teens. Even we adults face the procrastination issue, but kids especially, they tend to postpone. Baad mein karenge, let me come later, 5 more minutes. This is very common. This is becoming very common. And most of the times we are talking about stress-free parenting. So I want to first of all tell the moms, do not stress, especially if you are, under time pressure. That stress will pass on to the children. Yesterday, I was talking to a mom. She said, morning, I have to get ready for my work. At that time, if the kid does not cooperate, I get tense and angry. So just differentiate these two aspects, moms. Just to reduce your stress, is it because there is your time constraint? Are you getting stressed? That at 7 p.m. I need to go to the kitchen and start my work. Like Kanika and Shweta said, sit with the children. But what if beyond 7 p.m. you are not able to sit and you have to leave the place and carry on with your other jobs around the house? So this is causing stress. Then I suggested for some other moms also, I suggested 5 to 6 p.m. For example, keep the time not exactly at 5. Give the kid that margin, 5 to 6 p.m. anytime you come and start studying. And tell them the reason. 7 p.m. I have to go to the kitchen. I'll not be able to help you. Will you be able to do it on your own? If so, fine. If you are self-responsible, fine. I'm talking particularly about kids above 8 years. So you have to reason with them. You have to tell them and tell them, okay, fine. If you don't need me, no problem. If you can study beyond 7 p.m., beyond 8 p.m., okay, fine. But then you will not have my presence. So they'll understand the logic and reason, and it will not happen overnight. Explain to them 1 week, 10 days, and then they will understand. So coming to the next question, how to manage when they say, I don't want to write and read. They just, outright reject. You can be on mute, please. Yeah. So how to manage when they say, I don't want to write and read, no real inspiration or motivation. Look, what would you do if your son said, Mommy, I just don't want to study. I don't care. That is the response we are getting from the kids. Yes, Loka.
Like when kid is not ready to read, I will engage him in activity what he likes, like putting ball into a basket or coloring, or sometimes modes like he says some stories. Then he comes first, he will sit, then he will be like telling what he likes in his studies. Sometimes he teaches his younger brother like ABCD, small things. So he will be like, he's like, okay, I'll teach my brother, I don't read now. So
Okay.
gradually the interest gets increases now.
I like that tip. She says, put the elder one in give him the responsibility of teaching the younger one. So if you don't study, it's okay, you teach your brother. That was one tip you gave. And Loka, you also, what I got from you, immediately will not oppose when he says, why should I write? Why should I read? You will not even, answer him or try to pacify him. Instead, you will take him to some game.
Yes,
You will make his mood be all right. That was the tip, right?
yes,
Okay, good. See how many perspectives we get when there are different parents, trying to understand. Even you participants who are here, not that you don't know anything, only we four can tell. It is like a brainstorming session. What we can do with our super smart kids, we have to be a little smarter than them. So we are brainstorming. Nice session, yeah. Yes, Shweta, what would you do if your kids told, I just don't want to write and read?
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, if my kid says I don't want to read, I will ask him that I will tell him all the professions. Like I will make sure that he knows everything, like doctor and everything like that. Then I will ask him what you want to become. Then he says I want to become a doctor or an astronaut. One time they says actually they will be shifting from one to other. So I will ask, if you want to study, then how? If you want to reach your goal, how you have to study and you have to write and you have to do the hard work so that you can only reach that. So but for the small kids it will be like, okay, so to become something we have to do hard work and write. So it will be very useful, ma'am. Like they will like they themselves will come and sit and write with us.
Okay, you show them the bigger goals.
Yeah, bigger,
And explain.
yeah.
Kanika, you want to add something to this?
Yeah.
Basically, kids are not showing interest. Yeah.
Like it depends on the age group, what age group of the child it is. I will try them to give them some reward of their work target. Like if you finish off this work for 3 continuous days, you are having dedication, you will be rewarded by this. So let's not make that habit with them, but initially when the child is stubborn or he is not developing interest, let's take it casually and give them some reward of his choice. Maybe his favorite reading book, maybe his favorite toy, maybe some small ice cream. So I believe that rewarding gives them it works as a catalyst for them. That if I do this, I'll be getting this. So let me do it quickly.
Okay. Would
So
you
that
like
is
to
the
add
thing I would
something
like
for
to
the next question, Kanika? How to improve handwriting and how to make it ready to write?
Now
Yes,
again,
Kanika.
we would say it is like for the older kids, if I say they are having difficulty in handwriting, we will make them write the formation again. We will give them a practice of formation again. It should be not in a hesitation for any child that, oh, mama is making me write ABCD again. But it's perfectly fine just to enhance their formation again. Might be they are going wrong. They have learned the wrong formation. So why not let's do it again? And for the smaller kids, I will say they are still learning. So give them good amount of cursive books and all and make them do. So that will help. For older kids, go back to the formations again. For the younger kids, give more of the cursive italics to them.
Getting it done will be a challenge.
So
Then make it like a game and all that. You have to try. Give them sand, maybe, write in
yes,
sand.
yes.
Or give them that Play-Doh or even chapati dough, make A out of it, make B out of it. Get them interested in the alphabets and the formations, like Kanika said. Okay. Shweta, would you like to add about handwriting in particular?
Actually, we should also know them, ma'am, because handwriting is not only the one thing which we want to take care, because we should ask the kids if they are facing any problem while writing, that they have any pain in the hands or fingers. And so that so accordingly we have to make them do some little exercises like moving the hand muscles and everything, and playing with the dough, cutting with the plastic scissors, and then they will improve the hand or finger muscles. So then they will be writing neatly and also legibly. So we should take care of that also, because we should not say that they are not writing, but we have to take the what is troubling them the more also.
Good. Yeah. Yes, Loga, would you like to give some tip about handwriting?
I wish to make writing a happy thing. Like when we put a list for getting grocery and all, we will paste somewhere in a kitchen or somewhere in the writing table. I make my kid to write, what do you want from a shop? Either toy, pen, you write it. So it will be nice. Every day night when we write a journal, you can also write whatever you want, or you can draw whatever you want. So when it is constrained, you should write this. That's a problem, ma'am. You write whatever you want. That is not a problem. I feel in the younger children's.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So in general, I would like to sum up study related up to 4 years, 5 years. I am seeing mom stressing too much. My daughter is not writing. My son is not reading, or he or she is not as good as the other kids in school. Teacher has to constantly call out. What if teachers call out the name? It's good now that teacher is taking the attention. So don't stress about it too much, especially in this online scenario. Do not stress too much for kids below 5 years. 5 to 8 years, trick them, reward them. About reward, Banshri says, I have to reward them every time. Every time they develop the mindset that I should have something every time I finish homework or project. Reward can be star system also. It need not be instant gratification that you do today. Every day I'll give you one chocolate, or I'll get you an ice cream, or I'll get you a gadget or toy. It need not be like that. You can introduce the star system, that every day you'll get 5 stars when you complete 100%. If for example, you gave the child a page to write, the child could write only half a page, then you get 3 stars. So don't directly deprive them of everything. So according to their performance, you can reward the stars, and weekend or month end you can total up. And for so many stars, you will get so much amount worth of something. You can just decide it prior. Every day you need not give, but definitely the star system and acknowledgement of their efforts help, whatever the age, up to 10, 12, 10 years, this star system works. About 10, again, you have to motivate them in a different way. Promise them something like Shweta was sharing, show them their future goals, explain to them without losing patience, that you can do. But today's generation is very smart. They do what they wish to do. So if they don't want to take efforts, they won't even if you coax them. Okay. What Banashri is telling, even though we force, it depends on them. Am I right, Banashri? Even though I may ask them, I may trick them, or I may sit with them, I may help them, but unless they decide what they want to do, they will not cooperate unless the child himself or herself realizes the importance of studies. Very well said. That's what I was coming to. There's a limit to all the advising, preaching, cooperating, appreciating, whatever tips we have shared here about studies. There's one particular limit where it does not reach beyond a certain point. Then the kid himself has to cooperate, himself or herself. Unless that happens, nothing can be done. So what lesson can we take? Okay, I accepted Pansri's point. Very valid, very true. Nowadays kids are very adamant. So after all that, is it worth taking the stress then? I'm just asking a question. Okay, you have done all your efforts. Can you go and write their exam? Can you go and write their exam? No. Can you really hold their hand and make them write, especially kids about 10 years? They are not in the mood to listen, like they always want to do their own thing. So to some extent, you put the pressure, you reward all these tactics, solutions, you try. Beyond that, their mental mindset has to change. For that mental mindset to change, advise them, give them reasons. Don't lose your patience. Don't accept that failure, that my kid, no matter what, he or she will not study. I've had moms in my group telling me, okay, I've been telling, but he or she is not listening. Now I'll stop telling anything. Let him or her do whatever they want. But that will be like an open license to them to play with their gadgets and to spend their time with whatever they want to do. But instead, you should always try to correct them, try to bring them back. Don't leave out your efforts. That's my sincere advice, with a lot of patience. Tell them one fine day they will realize. Here I want to share one simple example, practical example, which happened with my colleague's son. This child was in second year PU, that is 12th standard, and he wrote the exam. He passed, but he got very less marks. On the day of mathematics exam, this kid went and played cricket. Afternoon was the maths exam. Imagine 12th standard boy, money 16, 17 years, not a small kid. And it took so long for him to realize. That's what I want to tell you, moms. Not that father didn't try or mother didn't tell him. They were always advising. But this kid, on the day of his exam, he went and played cricket. Then he went for the exam in the afternoon. He got very less marks. He passed overall, but he was not happy. That was the turning point for him. He withdrew the subject, he put for valuation, but he didn't get much marks. He studied 12th standard for one more year, and then he got a medical seat, and now he must be a doctor. This many years ago it happened. So finally, this kid has to realize for himself or herself, you put your efforts, but don't stress. Kids are kids, and you as parents, you are responsible. And someone has a question, do you think this reward system becomes like bribing them? Shweta, what do you want to say? Is giving a reward like bribing, is it good or bad in the long run?
Yeah,
Your
ma'am.
opinion.
Actually, the kids from one stage to another stage, they will be changing. So the parents' goal has to also be changing. Like we should keep the target at different age. Like the kids from 1 month, they will, okay, they want the TV. For another month, they want to play the outside, and like that. So our targets also should be changing, and we should be with the pace with them, and then we have to tell them to study or reading, like that. So the target for the parents and the children must be changing, and we have to go according to the children interest only.
Right. Right. Kanika, what do you have to say? Bribing. Even appreciation is a form of bribing, actually.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes. What Shweta has told, I absolutely agree that parents have to mold their kind of reward. I will definitely be in the context that yes, it becomes a kind of a bribe for the child. They think that I have the full right to get things in return. I will not be doing without that. But gradually, there is only parent who can judge that what is going in the child's mind when he or she is regularly getting rewards. So let's take a backlog out of them and try to mold our bribe system. Not exactly the bribe. There is a stage till which we can bribe them with their things of their choice. But gradually you just start molding your conversation with them that see, when you were a child, I had to give certain thing to make you fascinate. But now as you are growing up, you have to, see the challenges around you, your friends, your circle. Think over that. Getting things in return is always not done. Yes,
Right.
think for yourself. Think as an independent mind that do you really think you always should be given reward? It's for your betterment. We are doing all efforts for you. So molding is the best way.
Good point.
Convert
Bribe should not be a demand. That's what you mean to say. They should not
Yes.
demand, I want this, I want that.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Fine. Loka, you want to add something? Bribe or
Yes,
rewarding the
that
child.
should not be
Yeah.
a demand, but when child is adamant, as a parent, we should have, yes, I should correct my child. But when speaking with a child, okay, I agree. What you want, we can ask them. We can have a conversation, and we can give some to some extent. We can give something, and we can have a set a limit. This is the limit. I can do it for you. Everything has a limit.
Perfect. So I'll move on with the question, then we'll come to some questions in the comments. So other issues like how and when to create routine in children. So Shweta, what do you say? What age should we really implement some routine at what age of the child?
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, from 1 year onwards, we can set them routine, ma'am. Even the kids less than 1 also, they will follow certain their routine.
There.
But like sleeping and playing and drinking milk, everything. So routine we can set from year 1, so that they will know the what after it is coming. So they will be ready for that to do the task and everything. And also we can place some timetable for daily timetable, and also for weekly timetable we can make it, and we can say them so now this is the time to do this thing. So then they in their mind they will make their mind, so that they will not make a fuss about if we tell anything to do.
Earlier the better. That is what
Earlier
Shweta
the better.
advises.
Yeah.
From 1 year, if you start, it will be more easy. When they start going to school, you can accordingly change, as per their age, you can change. At least the child will know from a young age that there's a routine to be followed. That will make your life easier. Good
And
suggestion.
they know that what is coming the next.
Suggestion.
He is eating, and after that he want to sleep time. So we will see. So he might be become very like a routine will be done. So he will be like okay. He also didn't get bored. Nothing was there like that. He will be in an active way also.
So lot of clarity is there for the child as well as the everyone in the family if there's a routine.
Everyone.
Perfect. Kanika, how to create the routine?
See,
How to create? Yeah.
we say as we do, our child do. First of all, we will be making our routine. Like getting up early or in a normal time, we should be energetic in front of our children almost the time if we want them to have that habit. So making routine from day one that, proper timings, we are having lunch, proper time. This is the time when I'm doing my office work or any kind of, we have to show them, even if at certain points, if mother does not have kind of a reading or a writing work, she can pretend in front of the child that, this is my reading time, I have to read. So that will not unconsciously the child picks up that, there must be some reading time in the whole day. So that ways child has got this habit. So whatever we want to make them as a habit, we have to pretend or we should actually do it.
Right.
If we are doing it by default, it's in our habit. So definitely that habit has to be pretended. But, But in case the child is following a bad routine or the way we want him to move on in his life, set a time at very much time when he is supposed in the evening, we can set 5 to 6. So, sit with him, even just stroll the any picture book with him. So he will pick that. This is my reading time. This is my eating time. So whatever thing you want him, just sit with him and do along with your child. Gradually it will happen. It will not happen one day.
So essentially, you both are talking about smaller children. Smaller children and setting routines. Okay. Loka, would you like to add to it? How to create routine in children?
Ma'am, by the age of 8, the children should know by themselves. This is a time to, it's morning, we should bath and attend the school. Something like that. It's evening, we should read. Somehow from 8 years, they can do it, ma'am.
Okay.
Routine.
They should be self-independent and knowing their routine from the age of 8. Till then, you have to impose as a mother, you have to keep reminding them.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I would like to add, set family routines as much as possible, meal times, and like Kanika suggested, reading books. If everyone has the reading habit and sits with their own book, children will automatically follow. So family routines will surely help. And some of you, I know, like you have prayer routines. Children may cooperate, may not cooperate, but it is a more inspiring factor when everyone in the family are doing that. Children are bound to follow easily. So that is my suggestion. So coming to siblings, how to enhance relationship between siblings. Loga, what would you like to say about sibling relationship?
Ma'am, siblings are a wonderful relationship where we can get more people skills. From what we want, we can ask assertively without fighting. If we ask correctly from the siblings, we can manage a lot of things outside, I guess, ma'am.
Wow. So as a parent, it's your main responsibility to see that they get along with each other and they learn the negotiation skills at home itself and interactions, all that. Okay, it will prepare them for the future. Well said, well said, well said.
When they comes from a fight, we should ask. I guess we should ask correct questions to them.
Oh wow, okay.
He cries. Why he cries? So he said, he is upset. I destroyed his building blocks, Legos blocks. When such that time, oh, he's angry because his work is not is destroyed. So children will know how to mingle with each other.
Okay.
And we should be very patient when there is a fight. Then
so it's important to let them express their emotions also.
Yes, ma'am.
Whenever there's a fight, you should not stop them completely. Okay. Okay, Kanika.
Ma'am, I would say the best way to enhance relationship in the siblings is that give a responsibility. Give some responsibility to the elder one. Oh, you are responsible to make him finish his food this time. Okay. Same thing goes with the younger one. As a younger one, just keep a check. Have your, that your brother or sister has done this work. Make a team and you both finish it together. I am allotting a work. You both sit together and do. So now in that way, they will be, it can happen both in any age group, I would say. Even if they are small, even if they are elder or older kids. So just give them responsibility to do a task together. So that will enhance.
Shweta, would you like to add about sibling relationships?
Even within that, kids are small, but they understand what is going on and how the mother is, how the parents are also reacting to how the siblings. So we should be neutral. Like we should not when dealing with the both kids, we should be neutral and when whoever does the wrong thing, we have to say they had did the wrong thing, and whoever did the right thing, we have to praise them, and like that we have to be neutral and we have to take care of the both. Even if we had one, if we love one kid more or the other kid less, that is not. But we should be we should not express that in before the kids.
Okay, good. Some parents have told me that one kid is weaker one kid is always bullying the other. This has come to my notice. Always one kid has to compromise. In some family, it is this pattern has said that one kid is always strong and the other kid has to just comply to the demands of the other one. So when this happens, recently I was reading somewhere, so this thought I got that I should share with the mothers. If this is happening, if this is a pattern, then you need to set it right. You know, this kid is prone to bullying and this kid is prone to getting bullied at home every day. Whether it is the younger one or elder one, these things are coming to my notice of late. So this also you need to see. So you have to be neutral. Yes, perfectly accepted what Shweta said. But if this pattern is happening in your house, that one kid is always, you know, he or she always wants to have the final say, always wants to have their own preference met, and this other kid is getting neglected because of that. This other kid is feeling bad all the time. So you have to assess the situation accordingly. Then maybe you need to talk to both the kids. Tell this kid to be a little more independent, little more strong, express his or her thoughts, and tell the other kid not to take undue advantage. You know, as a parent, it's your role also. This thought came to me because of late I've been receiving this kind of feedback from the parents, and I was reading somewhere about this bullying happening in the house itself. Normally, we think it is a sibling fight. We name it a sibling fight and we don't address it. But if this is happening repeatedly, then this kid loses his morale, his confidence, the weaker kid. The elder kid becomes very bossy, demanding, and in the outer world, like Shweta or Kanika mentioned, you know, you're negotiating, and when you go into the outer world, I think Loga mentioned, you're actually preparing your character, you're developing your attitude at home, and same attitude comes out outside also. So what if this bossy kid goes out and expects all the privileges, that everyone should listen to him or her, and this kid is very weak-minded and doesn't have the confidence to face any authority, because this pattern has been happening in the house. To just guard against this, moms, you have to counsel the child individually. The child who is always demanding and the child who is always giving in to the demands, you have to counsel them separately, and accordingly tell this child to be a little more stronger and defend himself or herself. Mommy or daddy can't come to your rescue every time. You have to learn to protect yourself, to defend yourself, and tell these other kids that this is not acceptable. This bossy behavior is not acceptable. It is your role, and you have to just intervene in that case. How to make kids to start eating his own food, or how to handle a choosy eater. Loga, what would you like to say in this for this problem, especially about eating?
Mom, eating by nature, some kids are very picky, ma'am. So we should be like introducing some in a fancy bowl. Some days with a toothpicks or spoon, fork, something like that. The children will feel some food, some interesting, feel the food very interesting. They may eat. Sometimes some kids will be like, when sometimes we give phone, they will eat. Whatever it might be, they will eat. Choosy eaters are eating, ma'am. That is a very wrong habit. But still, choosy eater can be made to eat anything with a phone for 10 minutes. It's very bad habit.
Show the phone and make them eat. Yeah, some moms are following. So stress-free is one thing, stress-free feeding, and later it becomes gadget addiction. Then they come for gadget problem. Yeah,
Yes,
we all know, and we are seeing around also. So just maintain a balance as far as possible. Do not give gadget while feeding. Try to
Yes,
wean
ma'am.
them away. Yeah, good suggestion, Loka. Yes, Shweta.
Ma'am, actually, for anyone, even we don't like to taste the new food sometimes. So we have to ask the kid, will you try it? So we have to tell him, okay, you try. If you don't like it, okay, you leave it.
Oh.
Because you can throw it. Otherwise, we can say that one. But we should not force them, because if we force the food and everything, they might be like they become the choosy pick, like picking choose. They will choose a particular food only, and they will move on with that whatever they like. So we should not force them, but we should ask them whether you want to eat or not. But when comes to the small kids, we have to introduce them the new food. If once the food is introduced twice or thrice, they will get used to that food.
Okay. So Shweta's advice, I understand, balance the nutrition overall, but do not force them a particular kind of food. If they don't like, give them a choice. Give them that, you know, choice and independence to choose the foods they like. Very good suggestion. I had never thought from this perspective. Thank you. Nice. Yes, Kanika, about fuzzy eating, juicy eating, what would you like to add?
Suppose there are small kids who are still learning to eat, or talk about the age of 2 to 3 years age kind. try to, if they don't eat, try to give them finger food, more of the finger food, the food which is easy to eat for them. Now mothers have to be creative to make every nutritious food in a kind of a finger food. So, just don't bother. Announce in, 10 minutes before that meal time is about to approach. So whatever you are doing, keep it away. So, and at that moment, the child's mind is prepared. Oh, now I have to eat and now I have to leave this thing. So 10 minutes gap he gets. And if you give him the finger food, which is, or any food which for him it is easy, so give it to him, the child will definitely eat. Even if he eats in small part, at least appreciate him that, oh, today you have done it on your own. I'm so proud of you. So that ways, giving him this independently doing thing and preparing his mind before the meal time will definitely help him to, be independent in eating.
Very
That
good,
would
very good.
my
Very
point.
good tips. Finger foods, very good. And I would like to add, make them responsible to call everyone. At least dinner time, it's your duty to call the whole, whoever, dad, mom, grandparents, call them to the table, lay the table, take their help, and in garnishing the food, making some salads and cooking by themselves, they can help. Kids can help in the cooking, and normally kids will be proud of whatever they cook. Take their suggestion, what should be the menu, make it colorful, add beetroot to your paratha, it will become red paratha and green paratha. Whatever questions you are sharing, please do share, even if it seems negative. Without you telling, how will we address the complaints or issues? We are all together in this, not to worry. Some comment is coming that I may sound negative, but I am facing it. No worries, please share. We are here to listen to you, offer whatever solutions may work. Please share. No problem. Yeah, thank you everyone for that food related tips, choosy eating. So now about the listening habit. I'll take all the questions in the comments. Last another 5 minutes, we'll complete these 3 more questions. Then we'll go for the questions in the comments. How to raise kids with independent minds? So this is one question. Okay, what do you call independent mind? Kanika, would you like to just elaborate on this? Make the kid independent. Yes. How to make the kid independent? Yeah, or independent thinking.
In my context, I would say independent mind is the child who is having his own thought process to decide things, how he will be fitting in the society, how will we be tackling the people around him in good conditions also, in bad situations also. So that I think that he's making his
Something
own
like
decision.
emotional intelligence
No, ma'am, not
or
emotional.
maturity.
In my context is that
Yeah.
he's thinking on his own.
Okay.
Might be emotional intelligence. Yes, I agree. Might be it's related that he's having his own right and wrong senses, and he's deciding on which is more favorable for him.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
mhm.
Rather
So
than just accepting what the parents say, he or she should think
has
what
its
is
own decision making. Yes,
own
yes. For
decision.
that, I would say that, we parents have to play a big role in making him decide things. Like we should not think that our kids are small. Let it be 2 year child also, let it be 10-year child or 15 years. Always make them involved in your discussion. Oh, that's my child. So he's also
So
having
sweet. So sweet. He'll take a class for all of us now. if
a
you let him do. So sweet.
So, we should, motivate them, even it is a part of your dinner. Suppose he's small. So we'll ask them that, what should we make in dinner? Please, you decide. Use the word decide
Decide.
specifically. So that they
Wow.
keep on thinking that I have to be responsible for certain things of the house. So that way is gradually, if he grows up, make him a part of a decision, like wherever we have to go for this weekend, what clothes, dress. Please, can you please wait? Okay, wait, I'll just catch. Wait. So that is the thing from my side, that decision should be from child. We should always give him the decision power.
Lovely, lovely. Shweta, would you like to add something to it? Somewhere we want them to be independent at the same time. Question number 3 is a bit contradictory. How to make kids listen to you? So what is the delicate balance, Shweta? When to give them the independence, when to tell them, I know best, you'll just listen to me.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, we have to make them kids very independent nowadays. Actually, when they grow up, they don't want to they don't have their own mind, and they want to depend on the others. Even when I was a small kid, my mom used to say me, you think you have a mind, right? You think what is good and what is bad. So now now I'm very successful, and I can think my own, and even I take the whatever others say also. But I will be but at last the decision will be making me only, like that. So for not the big decision, but small decisions regarding to the home and like that. So so I think we should, from the small age only, we have to inculcate in the kids to decide, like just if we are going outside, we can ask him whether you want to go by walk or by bicycle, you want to ride on the cycle, like that. And if you want to eat the chapati or you want to eat the rice, so then their mind will be deciding. So they will feel that okay, so they are making the decision process, and it will improve gradually once their age also goes on improving. And another thing, ma'am, so when they become independent, they will have they can make their life also very valuable, and they themselves will feel that they had achieved a lot.
It will be more smoother for them from the young age if they are on their own. If
Yeah.
they know there is nobody, like I have to make my own decision, then it will be more easier for them when they grow up as adults.
Even they will be their stress levels will also be very low, ma'am, because
They'll be more
are
confident.
deciding, they are deciding the what they want to do.
Mhm. So, Loka, would you like to add something? The kid is,
Yes.
as it is, we actually see when they are newborns, they are independent. You know, they want to do their own thing. Even 1-year-old child will not listen to us, but still we think as parents, we should control them. So, what is the balance, Loka, according to you? Control and giving them independence.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. Child should know to walk on their own path, but they should have accountability and vulnerability. If I do this, I'm answerable to my parents and to my friends. That should be known. They should be aware of what's good for them and bad.
Good point. Taking us to the next question, you actually spoke about, they should be accountable. So something like responsible also, they should be responsible for their actions, and they should accept the responsibility. So what would you say, Loka? How to make them responsible? Yes, they should be, but how to get them to be responsible?
Ma'am, when they understand, if they do this, they will get good knowledge or
Result.
good result.
Hmm.
Then they will be start doing. They are doing only for good of them and their family or their friends. They will do it. Automatically they will do it. But the way we tell them should be their own language, child's language. At what age they are, in that age we should tell them.
According to the age, parents have to advise, but they have to develop the responsibility.
Yes, ma'am.
Over the
In
years.
their own language. How, if I tell, how they will listen. That we should know.
Very good.
It
Very
varies from individual to individual.
good. So understand the child's mentality and advise accordingly.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what you say. Fine. Good. Kanika, would you like to give us some tips how to make it responsible?
Ma'am, I would say that, we all parents should make an effort and assign them certain thing. Just let them do it completely from their own mind. Let the result be, it's not going in direction which we wanted, but just let it be. Let the child understand where he was lacking in all his scenario of his job. And this can be from, we can start doing it from the age from 4, I believe. Like, give certain tasks which the child can do. And, if he's done it in a very good way, you actually genuinely give him a wow expression. Like if something goes wrong, just be calm. It's okay. You could have done in this way. The result would be different. So, just we as a parent have to have patience to give them a task and make them think from their own mind how he or she will be doing. Suppose even if there's some, get together at home, so just make him responsible that you have to arrange for, if he is around 10 years, so give him the part of, you have to arrange for the party games. You think over. So he can do it. He can do the Google. He can set out the things, the easy game. So, they will be responsible. They will feel, oh, I am the whole soul person for things. I have to be have to do it in a very right direction. So he'll have that feeling of responsibility. Oh, that ways, giving them tasks and let them do mistakes. It's okay. Let them, they are small, they are learners. Even we do mistake. Then only we learn from a mistake that how we were wrong. So let's make them responsible in doing the task totally, on their own.
Fine. I'll ask Shweta a different question related to this only. What if you want to give the responsibility, but kid is not ready to take the responsibility because he or she is not sure. Like they are used to the criticism, or they think I may not be able to do well. So they are averse to responsibility. No, no, don't give me anything. And how to develop this responsibility? They're
Ma'am,
very
actually, we should
sensitive.
ask them why why they don't want to do, because whether they are facing any problem, and we have to say them, Amma is there to help you. If you feel any difficulty, I am there. I will do a little bit of work for you, and you do the little bit of work for you. So Amma will be observing you, and Amma will be in the helping you a lot. We have to give him like two or three times. We have to help him,
Give
and
that
then the third or the
confidence.
fourth time he will be very successful, that and he himself will be very happy, so that he himself can do anything. He also comes to know that he is capable of doing that one.
Very good. Once I had a mom tell me, my kid does not study by himself. Kid was 12 years, and 12 years is quite a big age, but he wanted her to be with him. He will study, but mommy, you have to be here. And she was a working lady. She told me, I have time constraints, so he's not studying by himself. What should I do? Here, the child lacked that confidence that he can study by himself. He has become totally dependent on the mother. So I suggested to this mother, from tomorrow, you leave the room, assign him, write this small paragraph you write in your notebook by seeing the textbook. It may be a simple assignment. You do this 5 minutes, I'll just go and come back. No, just make him comfortable 5 minutes without you. So let him gain that confidence. By the time mommy came back, I have written that. Even if he has not written, do not point it out. Even if he has not completed that allotted work, do not point out, be okay with it. By 1 week, he'll be able to do something on his own for 5 minutes. Gradually increase to 10 minutes. So bring it to 30 minutes by 2 months, 3 months. Then you can relax saying that, okay, my kid will study without me for 30 minutes. But for that to happen, it's a process, step-by-step process. And that child will have to develop confidence in himself that I can study without mommy. Unless he himself gets that confidence, that will not happen. So by 1 month, she reported, yes, your tip is working, and she was very happy. Child is studying little by himself and is gaining that confidence. Just in the context of this question, I wanted to share this. How to make them listen to you? Biggest question mark. I think we should have put many question marks there. How to make kids listen? Why are the kids not listening to anything we say? Anything and everything. All moms here will agree. Type yes if you agree. Most of the things why when parents say they want to just do exact opposite, or they behave as if they haven't even listened to you. Type yes in the comments if you agree. Nothing you say, goes past into their ears. Even if they listen, they don't want to obey. They want to do exact opposite or something else. When you want them to study, they want to play. When you want them to help in the house, they'll ask you why. Why should I help? Then when you say, why don't you respect the elders, they start arguing with you. Dada did this to me, Dadi did this to me, why should I not talk back? This is this general kind of arrogance we are facing, the parents are facing. So I would like to start. I would like to share my few tips, and then I'll pass it on to you also. See, basic that friendship and trust is lost between the parents. Especially my forte is these. I'm thankful to Kanika, Shweta, and Loka. They brought out the psychology or the parenting of the younger kids. So very much valid points. But mainly this arrogance comes when they grow up, preteens and teens. I'm seeing off late a lot, at least younger kids, by threatening or tricking. Sometimes you can get them to listen, but as they grow up, they start questioning. So how to do that? Somewhere this friendship or that mutual confidence between the parents and children is lost. A pattern has set. I always talk about pattern interrupt. So it's okay. I advise or I request the moms to accept the defeat, go their way, and then get into their world and bring them to your world is my simple advice. So become friends with them. Don't even expect anything. Just sit with them for 10 minutes. Listen to what they talk. If they are playing a game, ask them, what is this game about? Get into their world. It's okay. Don't look at that person as your son or your daughter. For a few minutes, forget that he or she is your son or daughter. Just think you are their friend. Be very friendly. Do this for 1 week. Then they start to listening to simple demands of yours. After 1 week, they start listening to simple demands of yours. So this listening is my, my topic. No more yelling webinar. When I talk about this. So maybe if you have forgotten, refresh yourself with those concepts. It always works. First, become their friend, gain their trust, break the pattern. Whenever you say something, child is opposing. Instead, you don't even demand, just listen to them initially 1 week. Later, small demands, later increase the demands. Drastically, it will not change. Start little by little and some things will change. Very briefly, I've told you. Anyway, I'm there in the group. You can ask me specific issues and you can take one-to-one calls also. I'll address that. Yes, Shweta, would you like to add? How to make them listen to you? Generally, what is one or two issues which we see children not listening?
Ma'am, actually, sometimes it's we only we will be telling like everything. Like if we start with one topic, we will be like telling it as an essay, a description like that. So we have to tell the kids, do if we want to tell, switch off the TV. Only switch off the TV. That's it. If we say like switch off the TV, you don't want to read like that. If you don't read, what will you become like that? We go on talking. So then then the main point is lost. So we should keep our instructions or anything like a short only. So like some, if the small kids are there, they will get confused with so many inputs if we give them. So we have to say, if we want to go out, first we have to say go to the put your shoes and then lock the door and ride the bicycle. So we have to give, once if we complete one instruction, then go on to another instruction and then go on to other. So they will understand and then they will do according to ma'am. And even what you said, ma'am, that is very important. We have to have a very good bond with them. So it will be the only thing they will listen when we say.
Only if that bonding is there, then actually
Yeah, ma'am.
start to listen to you.
Yeah, we have to give them our it is just 15 to 30 minutes is enough for enough if we give without any gadgets. Like we are listening to them, we are sitting there and listening to them whatever they are telling. Even for the small kids also, if we ask them what you are doing, and for and they say, if I say mom I love you kid, if I say I love you beta, then they say mama I love you very much, like that they will say. So we should the bond should be,
It is all reciprocal, you say.
yeah, ma'am. Yeah. The bond must be very good so that even this bond continues to the adulthood also.
Good. There's one question in the comment. I give this question to Loga about handwriting, Loga.
Yes.
It is getting worse day by day. The kid is 11 years plus. Teacher also written the same in his workbook. Please help me for the same. What tips can you share about handwriting?
Ma'am, it's 11 years. So child interest in writing may be gone down. So when child has interest, I should write neatly. It's my note. I should write neatly. That sense should be there, ma'am. Then they should practice some fine motor skills. Like they can be given some kneading chapatis or playing with the clays.
11 years, I think they would have developed by that time.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
11 years.
Yes,
More
ma'am.
of a motivation issue, I think. Or is his hands paining? These things can be looked into.
The mindset should be like, it's my
Mindset.
handwriting, write neatly. I should write
Okay.
neatly. That is the main point, I guess, ma'am.
Okay. 2 tips I would like to share here. Whatever his handwriting, you as a mom, you say it is good enough. Don't say it is bad, it is worse, you are not improving. This is negative. So instead you say, this is good enough, but you have still potential, you can improve. You can take it in that way. This is quite okay. You can say this is okay, it can be better. You have the potential. You yourself wrote very beautifully few years ago. So you can always write, you can take it in that way, you can advise the child. And one more tip I would like to say, this kid may be writing too much. Nowadays, kids are given a lot of writing assignments. hands may be paining, so kid may be demotivated. So give him breaks, and like Shweta said, some hand loosening exercises, and then dip the hand in warm lukewarm water. Take a break of 5 minutes in between the studies. Give him one big bowl of water, lukewarm water. Let him dip the hands, wipe his hands, and by 5 minutes hands will be energized again, and then he can start writing. These are few tips I would like to share. Then one more question for Kanika can answer this, I think. Ma'am, my son used to eat everything till 8 years, but since the time he started eating with his own hands, he has become very fussy. Most of the things, vegetables, he won't eat and make drama. So habit doesn't make much difference, I feel. Okay. This mom's problem is initially he was eating, but as and when he grew up and mom was feeding him, he was okay. From when he started eating himself, this has become a problem. Kanika, what do you think is the solution? Or why is the kid so fussy about all the vegetables?
Ma'am, I would say like by the age of 7 and 8, he was under your instructions, like he's eating. Now suddenly there is an age becoming.
Kanika, it's echoing a bit. Have you logged in two devices? Can you mute one?
No, only one device. I'll just.
It was okay till now. Now a bit of echo. Okay, continue. No problem. Yeah, continue. Continue, Kanika. No problem. Yes, Shweta, would you like to add something about fuzzy eating? Kanika is logged out. I think she's logging. Yes, Shweta, in the meanwhile, you can answer this question. After 8 years, kid has become fuzzy. Why so?
Yes, I'm back, ma'am. Is it still echoing?
Kanika, continue. Shweta, I'll let Kanika talk. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
I would say that this is the time period when the child has started making his own decision. He's understanding all the things around him. So it's okay that, he's not developing. He has actually developed the taste for that food and he has stopped eating. What we can do, whatever things he has stopped eating, let it be, appreciate his decision that, if you are not liking it, let's not eat that. I'll make an alternate only under certain conditions, that one choice of my food will be from your side, and another will be from your side. Gradually he will, develop that interest. So totally don't go along with him. Make a promise that it's okay. Appreciate it is your choice, it is your decision, because we don't want to hurt his emotions. We don't want to force him. Like same thing is happening with me also. I would be very true. My son has stopped eating onions suddenly. So what I'm doing with him, he is not liking dishes out of onion. So, I am like, it's okay, your decision. Let's not cut it out. If you don't like, why to force you? Let's make an alternate thing. But, onion is also not bad. I'm making him learn that, what you are missing out, what are the benefits of that food which you are missing. So we can, gradually we'll do it. It will not happen in one day. Let it be, keep on understanding his thought process. So might be because during this pandemic, kids are at home. They have their own mood. Suddenly every mom is facing this problem that, they are not liking. They're showing their
because of pandemic, they are creating a lot of fuss. Their moods are upset, like, correct. Yeah. Right.
So gradually it will happen. Appreciate his choice.
Yeah, give and take is what Kanika suggested. Once you give in to their demand and at the same time tell them, next time I make something, you should eat it. Sometimes your choice, sometimes my choice. I also suggest sit with a child and drop a menu and explain, if you're having only one kind of food, what about the other nutrition? So give him choices, this or that. Make a advanced menu and, you can feed the kid accordingly. Right. All questions are answered. Just some points moms want to share. Kids take me for granted. They are like, mama is there, so we don't have any problem. They are dependent on me totally, mama's kids. Even for a simple glass of water, I have tried many things to change this attitude of theirs, but in vain. Okay. About listening, I told my son one day that, why don't you listen? He says, if I listen, you will keep on talking, telling lot of things. Super smart kid. As mom, do we really keep on telling them now and then what to do? how to handle this situation. That is his perspective. It is his perspective that if I listen to small demand, then your demand keeps getting bigger and you will always pester me, or you keep telling me one or the other thing. If I listen to this, then next thing will come up. If I listen to that, then another thing will come up. He has got this perception. Mom is always there to demand from me, correct me, and make me listen. That perception he has got somehow. Try that friendship tactic, become friends with them. Okay, listen to him. Okay, what do you want to do? I won't tell you anything, but what do you want to do? Tell me what you want to do. If it is okay, I'll keep quiet, or if it is not okay, or if it needs some little correction here and then, I will suggest. For example, you want to study at 8 p.m. But what if you need my help to sit with you at 7 p.m. For example, 7 p.m. is possible. 8 p.m. is not possible for me. So what should we do? Pose them questions and let them answer. Right? So we'll end in another 2 minutes. Thank you all for joining anyway. One kid of mine eats almost everything, but the other kid, first one, the twin brother, doesn't eat absolutely anything, especially vegetables and fruits. He just consumes chapatis, parathas with pickle sauce, chutneys, dal, chawal, cheese, French fries. That's it. What if you can put vegetables to parathas, grating, or you'll have to work with a dietitian, I feel so. According to his preferences, that's the best advice I can give as of now, the solution. Contact a dietitian. These are his preferences. What about his nutrition? Parathas. Okay, whenever possible, paratha mein vegetable dal do. With the hack, all moms follow. We all know this hack. Kids also know that we are doing this. Somehow they eat. Unless they don't taste the vegetables directly, somehow they adjust, put it in sandwiches or parathas. And I suggest, take one simple diet from a dietitian, including most of his preferences, and make him accountable to the dietitian. He or she can include some more items which are not of his choice, so that he will be accountable to the dietitian if it's really required, if his preferences are not matching the nutrition requirements. So Juby says, my son eats chapati separately and later finish sabzi with spoon. So cute. At least he cooperates. Okay. So thanks everyone. That was a wonderful session. Thanks to my teammates, my trainees, Kanika, Loga, and Shweta. You all were very wonderful in suggesting so many tips and suggestions. Can we have a screenshot? Can you come on camera, please, everyone? It was a lovely meeting. Yes, please. Hi, Manisha, Sandhya, Bansri, Urvi. Hi. One sec. I'm just clicking. Nice to see you all periodically, face to face. Okay. Thanks, everyone. So this was just, we took various questions, main questions, topics, what are coming in the Zen Moms Club. Of course, you all are in the group. Ask your parenting questions. And yes, I want you all to be stress-free. Zen Mom is not one day, one process. It is lifelong process. I have a son of 29 years. Even I try to be Zen Mom again and again and again. So challenges are different when two individuals are there, especially kids are so independent thinking. So some differences come up. So we just sort out the differences and learn to live peacefully with each other. That's the full intention, to have our family peace and happiness. And thank you everyone for joining. A special thanks to Loga, Kanika, and Shweta, Bansri. Thank you. Urvi, Sandhya, Sneha, Manisha, Kiran, Maithili, Jubi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, I didn't get your name. Madhura, thank you for joining. Shanmuga, Sneha, thank you all. Good day. Bye. Happy weekend. Bye, everyone. Thank you.